It's been exactly 5 days since we arrived at the cabin here, and even though a lot of this feels very familiar and I've been in a lot of off-grid situations before and I've done so many things on my travels, this also feels like an important new beginning, and I knew this before we came here. Long story. Actually, about 3 months ago, I drove all the way from British Columbia to Ontario because about half a year ago I met someone here. We first met online and then we met in person in April after the house that I lived in sold, and I just knew that, well, I already knew that there was likely a relationship developing here, and so I decided to come here to Ontario to see what this is, and then I ended up deciding to leave everything behind in BC for now and come here. And it was a big leap, and I knew it was going to be life-changing, but in a lot of ways the last 3 months have also been a time of really letting go still of what I'm leaving behind and really feeling into what's next. And it's been a very introspective time, and it's been a pretty non-ideal living situation in some ways. We have a lot of ideas and kind of a feeling about what we want to create and what we want to step into, but we're also both adventurers and very much in that flow of allowing life to unfold, and we've been trying out different things. In June, we went on an RV trip for about a week, and we really enjoyed that, and we're actually considering buying an RV, but that didn't really work out, or at least not for now, and so that was a clear sign that it wasn't the right thing yet or the right timing. And so we've been feeling into other possibilities, and a couple weeks ago I really started feeling there needs to be movement. And so I was exploring different options, looking at Airbnbs, and there were a few that I was considering, but then this house sitting opportunity came up, and so now we're here on this beautiful private island in northern Ontario. This is a small lake with, I think, just 3 houses on it. And while the owners are away, they're going on a canoe trip. We're looking after their poodles. So that's been an interesting adventure so far. And it's also, yeah, it's a really beautiful place, and it's very rustic and simple in a lot of ways. It's very peaceful and also feels really expansive. And I know I've mentioned this in previous videos before. One thing that's been coming up for me for a couple years already is that feeling that I need to make some changes in my business, and I was in a lot of ways waiting for the right timing, or also not feeling like I really had the courage or maybe the foundation to expand in bigger ways yet. Perhaps because some other things needed to fall into place first. But I feel like after this change, after moving from BC to Ontario and leaving everything behind and just being in a totally different situation, and also being in a new relationship that feels very supportive, I can feel that it's time. And some things have already been evolving behind the scenes, and I'll probably share a bit more about that at a later time. I've been collaborating with someone, and we're creating a membership program basically, and we just started letting in our first members, and so that's flowing really well now, finally, after more than a year of preparing. And so I feel that's going to be a big piece of what comes next. But yeah, and definitely a step in the right direction. But what I've also been feeling is I've been holding back a lot. I've been putting a lot on the back burner. In the last 5 years, I've been focusing very much on helping my clients bring their creative projects to life, mostly Oracle card decks. And while 5 years ago, when I first started doing this, it was exactly what I needed. It was really exciting, and it brought me a lot of joy, and there was a lot of growth and opportunity for learning. I've been feeling more recently that there's been a sense of stagnation, and I've been in people-pleasing mode in a lot of ways. And yeah, so I've really been tuning into that more and feeling into where am I saying yes to things that I'm actually not really so excited about, or what am I saying no to that is actually really calling me. And yeah, I realize I've been in a comfort zone in a lot of ways, and I've been playing it safe. And while that served a purpose for a little while, and I know that I needed more stability, and yeah, just after so many years of going through so much, I feel like my nervous system needed a break, and I just needed a little bit more stability. And it was a period of grounding and growing new roots and building the foundation for what's next in my life. But what my soul has really been saying to me, I feel, is it's time to stop playing it safe, and it's time to take those bigger leaps, even if it feels like a risk, and really feel alive again, and allow myself to have the opportunity to grow in bigger ways and to expand into new things, and kind of reframing all the stories about failure and past traumatic experiences and all of that, and realizing that I can't really fail. If I try new things, chances are that certain things are not going to work, but it doesn't really say anything about me, or it doesn't really mean anything other than that I've learned something, and then I can try something else, and in the long run I'll grow more quickly, and there will be new opportunities that I can't really open up to fully if I don't give myself permission to explore. So long story short, I've been feeling in my heart that I want to start kind of an experiment that I want to share here on my channel, and then I'll see what it expands into. Yeah, so the idea here is that I really want to see what happens if I radically commit to saying yes to the things that I really want to say yes to, and say no to the things that are not actually lighting me up, even if it takes courage and it might be scary, and I may have to say no to certain people in ways that feel uncomfortable. And I know this has already been coming up for me so much lately, and I'm actually working through a couple of those types of situations right now. And I also know that no lesson ever stays longer than it's needed. So I'm choosing to embrace this and share the journey with you. And if you feel inspired, then I would definitely invite you to join me on this journey and do your own little experiment with this and see what happens. I know I've done this before, and I know it can be radically life-changing in so many ways, and it can really open up space for quantum leaps, and it can change things very rapidly. And I'm super excited to share this journey with you, and I can't wait to see what happens. And now you'll get to see a little bit more of this beautiful place and our adventures here.